Whoops, I did not even join the call yet. Nope. Disconnect and reconnect. Sometimes if I mute and then unmute, it doesn't properly unmute. Oh, let me just check to make sure we're actually live. Of course, it's got the old thumbnail. Yep, that's fine. We seem to be buffering a bit, but that's fine. We'll make do. I don't have a ton to do today to talk about for this stream. So I will be discussing kind of sort of my plans for the rest of this month for One Monday Movie Club. But first, hi, welcome to another installment of Noah's Monday Movie Club. Let me share this with the Discord so they know I'm live. So, yeah, I guess I'll start by talking about one of the films I watched this week. I didn't watch much this week, actually. Oh, what? Not receiving enough video to maintain smooth stream? What the fuck do you mean, not receiving enough video? What do you mean by this? I don't understand what that means. Wonder if I stop capturing my screen, will that help? That might help, I don't know. If I just capture my webcam, that might help, I don't know. Anyway, I didn't get around to watching much this week, so I don't have much to talk about. But last night, before I watched Paul, I actually did watch what many people consider a classic for the first time. I watched The Devil Wears Prada. I'd never seen it before. Obviously, the new one came out earlier this year. And my mom was essentially wondering if I was, since that's now on Disney Plus, she was wondering if I was interested in watching it, and I was like, well, I should watch the first one first. So ended up watching the original. I thought it was fine. It's not my vibe, but I understand why it is regarded the way it is. I understand why it's become a classic for many people. And why a lot of people hold it as one of their favorite Meryl Streep performances. That makes a lot of sense, because she's playing a very fun character that, especially at this point in her career, she didn't get a lot of opportunities to play a character like this. So, it is kind of just Mean Girls in a different setting. I for my Letterboxd review, when I review films on Letterboxd, I really log them. These aren't really reviews per se, but when I log a film on Letterboxd, I'll always do I'll do the Jello Apocalypse thing of reviewing it in 10 words or less. And my review for Devil Wears Prada was Mean Girls, but the bus hits Gretchen. I immediately got like Mean Girls vibes from just the character dynamics. Obviously, Miranda Priestley is Regina George. Andy is Katie. Um, and, you know, with this review, I'm kind of likening Emily to Gretchen. Just 'cause that makes the most sense because she's the one who, like, is Regina's right-hand girl prior to Katie coming to the school. And she starts to feel some resentment towards Regina, so that's kind of where I got that analogy from. That's a much looser connection, but yeah, no. So like I get it. The costumes are great. Obviously it's all about fashion. Um and you had some very strong editing in the particular scene where Andy first improves her wardrobe or starts dressing more fashionable. Um and They have the montage of her walking to work, and every time she walks behind something that they can hide and edit behind, she changes outfits. I love that. I think that's really cool. Really really good visual storytelling there. Um yeah, the movie's fine. I probably wouldn't rewatch it. I own it on DVD, but I probably wouldn't rewatch it. And I don't really have an interest in seeing the sequel, especially because considering how the original film ends, I don't understand how they would make a sequel work. And typically, as is the case, even if a sequel is like well regarded and does well at the box office, if I'm watching the original movie and I'm like, how did they make a sequel to this? Odds are I'm gonna hate the sequel. It happened with Beetlejuice. It would probably happen with Devil Wears Prada. I probably would not like Devil Wears Prada 2, is my guess. Um, yeah, Devil Wears Prada 1, pretty good. Um, that is really the only film I watched this week that I don't have more in-depth specific discussion to talk about. Um, so I guess I'll go ahead and talk. Well, do I want to talk about Paul or do I want to detail my plans for the month? Okay, so this month, I don't know how much movie viewing I'm going to be able to get in because I'm going to be filming a short film this month. I still have to figure out scheduling stuff. But I have today and the next 3 days after this off of work, so I'm hoping to get a lot of that figured out, figure out all the logistics I need to figure out. But there are new films I'm excited for seeing this month, particularly Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma. I'm very interested to see that. I saw the TV Glow, and I'm all for like meta horror comedy. And this one's been getting stellar reviews, so I'm very excited to see that. That comes out this weekend for me. I know it's already released limited some places, but yeah, it releases this weekend for me. So hoping to go see that. If I have the time next Tuesday, I didn't request work off for it. But next Tuesday they're doing like a National Icy Day. And so if you go to like various places besides theaters are doing it as well, like Walmart's participating, but AMC is also giving away free ices that day. So if I have the time next Tuesday. I'll probably see it next Tuesday. Also really want to see Tony when that comes out. That looks really good. I've been hearing very good things about it. Again, that's another one that has already released some places, but hasn't released by me yet. And then after that is the big one, Coyote versus Acme at the end of the month. And in the lead up to Coyote versus Acme, my plan is I probably won't be discussing this. I'll most likely just discuss this the Monday after Coyote versus Acme comes out. I'm planning on watching every Looney Tunes movie and talking about those on Monday Movie Club. A lot of them are just compilations of the shorts, with some like through line, some what's the word? Wraparound. Some of them don't even have a wraparound. But, yep, I'm gonna watch the compilation films. I'm gonna watch the actual narrative features, so rewatch Space Jam, one of my least favorite films of all time. Back in Action I haven't seen in a long time. I know I watched it as a kid, but I don't remember anything from it, so I'm excited to give that another watch. And then there's a lot of direct-to-video. There's quite a few direct-to-video ones that I have not seen. But there aren't that many Looney Tunes films, so like I feel confident that I can get all those watched before Coyote versus Acme comes out. And I'm gonna see that right when it comes out. Very excited for that. That's one of my most anticipated of the year. Might end up with a Sammy Birch double feature this month, because that comes out and Late Fame, which the theater I work at is going to be showing for a week, so I wouldn't watch them back to back, but yeah. What else? I'm interested in doing other like niche marathons. Like, I want to marathon all of Jodie Foster's Disney films, because as a kid, she acted in quite a few of those, like, weird, obscure live-action Disney... I mean, not all of them are obscure. She was the daughter in the original Freaky Friday. Just, I think that'd be an interesting, portion of Jodie Foster's filmography to look at. Because I love Jodie Foster's work. She's one of my favorite actresses. I'd be interested, because I haven't watched any of those. I haven't watched the original Freaky Friday. I haven't seen Candle Shoe. The only technical one, which I wouldn't even count this in the marathon, is I've seen Flight Plan, which I hated. But, no, I'm interested to see the, like, proper, like, Disney films that she did. I just find it interesting that, like, she, of all people, did so many films with Disney early on in her career. There's, like, 6 of them. Yeah. I'm gonna... I don't know if I would be able to get those done for next week. Especially if I'm going to try to get the Looney Tunes films done by Coyote versus Acme's release. But, yeah. I may take some weeks off from Monday Movie Club. Especially since I, might not have time to do to talk about a lot of movies, and just with my work schedule. Today I wanted to do, because I had the day off, But, like, I could have very easily delayed this one. Um, like, yeah. We'll see. I might switch to this not being every week because, um, I mean, quite frankly, people haven't been able to join me most weeks. I've had 2 streams where people have been able to join me, where people have joined me on CoCom, but, yeah. Um, what else? That's pretty much it. I will give you guys updates on, like, how filming goes when filming happens, and maybe some of these streams will just be like chill hangout streams where we don't like really discuss films at all, where I'm just like editing the short film. That might be a good thing, because I did that when editing Development: and that was fun. Although this one I will have to put a lot more effort into, or I want to put more effort into, but yeah. Yeah, I guess I'll talk about Paul now. That is the film that I chose for, discussion for this week. It was available on Tubi. For anyone who wasn't here last week and is curious why I chose Paul of all movies, because Jesse Plemons is in it, which is really funny that that's one of the reasons why I chose this, because, I mean, just to briefly touch on, something in the actual film before, like, an actual discussion. You could remove Jesse Plemons and David Koechner from this film, and the only major difference it would make in the film is that there would be, like, half the gay jokes that there are. But, the other reason is just, like, I just have, like, a funny story related to this movie where, like, one of my mom's ex-boyfriends, boyfriend at the time, rented this from Family Video, and, I don't know if he didn't know it was an R-rated film, or if he was just trying to pull a fast one and, like, show me and my sister an R-rated film when we were too young to see it. Because this came out in 2011, so I would have been, like, maybe 13, 12 or 13. My sister, 10 or 11. And she would have been, yeah, well, when it came out on DVD, yeah, 10 or 11. But, and I don't remember if I was the one who was like, Mom, I'm pretty sure that's rated R, because I was very much a rule follower as a kid, or if my mom was like, no, that movie's rated R, my kids aren't watching that, on her own. But, yeah. And, yeah. She actually, was like, oh, I might watch that with you. Let's watch a trailer for it. And then we got, like, halfway through the trailer, and she's like, nah. Just fair. It's very much not her type of movie. It's very much, like, I mean, it's very much a like a 2000s, early 2010s comedy. For those who don't know, like, the plot or anything, I mean, it's basically just E.T., but, with adult humor and swearing. Like, an alien crashes on Earth, and, befriends some humans and is on the run from the authorities. Um, I thought it was a fine movie. It's kind of crazy. Another reason I want to take a break from, I might take a break from doing these weekly, is that, like, all the films that I've picked have been, like, meh to bad. This is the first good film I've watched for this series. Straight up, because, what, The Carpenter's Son from last week, absolute garbage. Idiocracy was meh. Now You See Me was bad. Nick Knight was bad. Yeah, every film, like, prior to this, Idiocracy would have been the best film, but I didn't care for it. And there's definitely, like, I mean, this isn't a great film by any means. It's like a 7 out of 10 at best. I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it more than I expected to. Um, Especially because I have not generally been a fan of the works of Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Um, like, I'm not a fan of Shaun of the Dead, not a fan of Hot Fuzz. I never saw The World's End. Um, but I'm guessing if I didn't like those two, I wouldn't like World's End. But it dawned on me while watching this after watching this film and being like, oh, that was actually pretty good. It might just be that I'm not an Edgar Wright fan, because I also didn't care for The New Running Man, and I really disliked Last Night in Soho. And, like, I like Scott Pilgrim and Baby Driver, but I don't love those films like a lot of people do. So I think Edgar Wright's not my jam. Because this is written by Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. But yeah, I thought it was fine. Not all the humor works for me. A lot of it's very dated. As mentioned previously, there's a lot of, like, homophobic humor in it. But the ensemble is really good. Jason Bateman is fun. Kristen Wiig might be my favorite, actually. She plays this, like, she starts as, like, a diehard Christian, and you find this out by the film zooms in on her t-shirt, and it's a shirt that says "Evolve This," and it is Jesus Christ shooting Charles Darwin in the head, which is a really funny bit of visual humor to establish, like, her thoughts on things. But then, Paul, the alien, voiced by Seth Rogen, like, does sort of the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull thing, where, like, it gives her all the knowledge, except it doesn't kill her. It just makes her realize it. I mean, listen, I'm not a diehard Christian, but I do believe in God. I think the Institute of Christianity has a lot of issues. Not necessarily stemming from, like, the fundamentals of Christian beliefs, but specifically how many Christians interpret the Bible for their own personal benefit. which is interesting that this comes up because, we had a notable alien film come out this year from Steven Spielberg called Disclosure Day that deals with that theme briefly. The revelation of alien life in relation to Christian faith. And I do prefer how in Disclosure Day allows those beliefs to coexist. Whereas Paul is just like, oh yeah, I just proved to you that there is no God. Like, I don't care for that. I'm fine making fun of people who call themselves Christian but don't really exhibit Christian values. But I'm not a fan of, like, making fun of religion. That's why I've never been particularly interested in seeing, like, the Book of Mormon musical. I'm sure it's a good musical, but I don't think I would enjoy it. Because, yes, there's a lot of things wrong with the Mormon faith specifically, but I don't think mocking the faith is the way to go. Like, my belief is that you can believe whatever you want to believe as long as your beliefs do not bring harm to yourself or others. That said, I do like, again, I don't like that aspect of the character in Paul, but where they take Kristen Wiig's character after that is really funny, I think. Her intro is very funny, and what they do with her after her faith is shaken is very funny, because she starts, like, she's like, oh, there's no God. That means I can curse. And so she spends the rest of the movie dropping, kind of cursing in every line she has, which is a joke that wears thin after a while. It gets old, but it's really funny, especially when she's starting out and doesn't quite know how to use curse words properly. There's just I don't remember the specifics because there's so many lines she has. But, like, at one point she says, like, you bet your fat cock. She just, like, isn't using the right curse words most of the time, and that's funny to me. It just, her delivery is very good. And this is a film where, like, is very stupid and can come off as even stupider were it not for the fact that the cast is fully committed to the bit. She is fully committed to the bit. Other actors that stand out, Bill Hader and Jolo Truglio, play bumbling cops. Their dynamic is very funny. They were the first ones to make me laugh in the movie. Jason Bateman's always been a great straight man in comedy, and he does a very good job in this film. John Carroll Lynch plays Kristen Wiig's fanatic religious dad. And he's really good. Yeah, it's a film that it's very clearly, like, it's clearly a manner of love, like, a work of, like, love for the sci-fi genre. Um, it's just like a very silly take on like films like E.T. Um, excuse me. There's even some bits related to there's even bits related to Spielberg. Slight spoilers, Spielberg does make a cameo, a voice cameo, but that has funny implications for how Paul has affected pop culture. Yeah. Um Yeah, I guess I don't have much more to say about this film, unfortunately. Um, it is, it is what it is. It's like if you're down for this very like silly sci-fi comedy that's I mean everyone who worked on it talks about it being like a love letter to sci-fi fans, and it's, yeah, for sure, that definitely seeps through. And not all the jokes are gonna land. Some jokes that didn't land for me probably land for others, but and some jokes that land for me probably don't land for others, but I think it is I think it's a fine movie. um the cast is really good. um yeah. I imagine it could be more enjoyable if partaking in uh, alcohol or weed. That's not my thing, but if that is your thing, this is probably a good one to watch with. It's probably very good to watch with friends too. But yeah, nah, I think it's fine. I think it's one that like probably deserves a little more love. Because I feel like this is a film that kind of came and went without much fanfare. Like, I feel like most people don't really remember this movie. And I think it is a film that should be remembered. I think it's a film that, like, if more people watch it, it could definitely be like a cult classic for people. I know they've talked about like potentially doing a sequel, but more recently it's been like, yeah, there's no way we'd be able to do a sequel. I don't know that I would want a sequel to it, but if they happen to make one, I'd probably watch it. Yeah. No, this is the first film that I've chosen for like this like movie club viewing that I think I could wholeheartedly recommend. But yeah. Okay. And one more thing I want to do before the end of the stream. I know this one's probably going to be shorter, just because I don't have much to talk about. Again, because I didn't get to many movies this week. But something that I'm going to have be an ongoing segment is this. I have noticed in my movie viewing that, obviously my name is Noah, and I've noticed an odd trend where movie characters named Noah tend to not be great people. And so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find like every I and this is going to be like a weeks long thing. This will be a recurring thing. I'll watch like a couple a week. I'll just watch whatever I'm able to get to in a week, and we will talk about the characters named Noah in these films and how they are as people. My goal is to find like a few decent characters named Noah, because these two in particular give the name Noah a bad rap, I think. We're gonna start with Noah Calhoun from The Notebook. And this is where I tell people that I hate The Notebook. I think it's a bad romance story. I don't think it's a good romance. I'm going to put Noah Calhoun in the mostly terrible tier here, because he's bad. He's bad. And this was my second time watching The Notebook, but I needed to, refresh my memory about all the details. Just the one thing that always stuck out in my mind from watching this film is this is a guy who literally hangs from a Ferris wheel and threatens to kill himself in public if this girl who is currently on a date with another guy doesn't go out with him. He's like, if you don't go out with me, I'm going to let go and fall to my death. Or at least get seriously injured. That is a bad way to start what's supposed to be the relationship that we're rooting for in this movie. Other bad things he does, or just really good. I mean, in general, this whole opening scene rubs me the wrong way with Noah Calhoun, because he just doesn't take no. Like, he asks her out, she says no. And he doesn't take no for an answer. Like, he keeps persisting, and like, they're trying to make this out to be like, oh, they're such a good couple, like they were meant to be together, and he knew it. But it sets a bad precedent, especially if young boys are watching this film and think, oh, well, if I'm convinced that this girl and I are meant to be together, I shouldn't take no for an answer. No means no. And I think it's a huge red flag for me in a film, especially if the girl is currently with someone else. If the guy just doesn't take no for an answer, that's a huge red flag. There's also the scene where he lays down in the middle of the street, almost gets hit by a car, and convinces Allie to do the same. And this is apparently a regular occurrence of his. Much later in the film, after they have broken up, he leads on a grieving widow. Like, he sleeps with this grieving widow multiple times. This woman whose husband died in the war. A war that he also fought in. And where he lost, supposedly, one of his best friends. But that doesn't really seem to affect him at all. Because he's just so dead focused on Allie. He, like, sleeps with this woman, and she clearly is trying to, like, form a new connection with someone, and like wants something more than a physical relationship from him, and he's just like, no, I don't want that. And he's so hung up on Allie that like he's just using this woman. He just needs the physical connection, and that, rubs me the wrong way a bit. And also, he sleeps with Allie after she is married to the James Marsden character. They sleep together while she is actively married to another man. With that being said, the reason I'm not putting him at like the bottom tier, a there are obviously some like romantic gestures that like would be cute if I didn't already hate this character. Obviously, him writing her every day for a year could be read as obsessive, but also like is genuinely read as like it's very easy to read that as genuinely sweet. It's also worth noting he seems like a much better guy in his old age. Like, cuz there's the framing device that old Noah, known as Duke, is telling the story of their love to an older Allie, who has dementia and can't remember a lot of that time. So he like tells her the story to make her feel better, which is nice. Like, I would find it nicer if this were a good romance, but it's not. But the main thing that really that pushes Noah out of like bottom tier for me, which pure evil would be an exaggeration, even if this weren't, even if I put him in there and I didn't have this like catch, it would be an exaggeration. But like, this is for comedic purposes, so who cares? I remembered disliking Noah in the film. What I didn't remember until this rewatch was that I also really don't like Allie in the film. She is also really bad. They're just not good for each other. Duke even says, while he's telling this story about him, Noah, and Allie falling in love, he says, like, oh, they didn't have much in common. They didn't have anything in common, but they were crazy about each other. It's like, well, no, a good relationship, you have some stuff in common. There should be common if you have nothing in common, you shouldn't be in a romantic relationship with that person. And like just the way it shows, it just kind of makes light of them like constantly arguing, and like when he's like, oh, we'll have to see how things go by the end of the summer, since she's literally going out of state to college. He's like, okay, well, let's see how the summer shakes out. And she's just immediately like, she's hitting him and being like, no, like, you're breaking up with me, like, which he's not breaking up with her. He's just he is saying, let's see where things let's see where things are at the end of the summer. Which is a valid thing. I've been in relationships where like my high school sweetheart, we were dating through the end of our senior year, and we were going to different colleges, not in different states, but we obviously weren't going to be seeing a lot of each other while we were in college. So we were like, okay, well, let's see how we'll stay together and just see how things go. And we did shortly, like, after starting college, we did agree that it wasn't work it, that long distance was not going to work and that we should break up. But Allie's like supposedly in love with him and then not even willing to like give that a chance. Not even like he's not even saying like, "Oh, let's give long distance." He's like, "Well, let's stay together for the rest of the summer and then just see where things are at." And she's immediately like, "No, you're breaking up with me. You can't do that. I'm just going to break up with you now." And it's really like they both suck. They should not be together. She is. I don't think like James Marsden's character is a perfect match for her, but he's a better match for her than Noah. And they both have issues. They are the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard of overrated romance stories. But yeah. So I'm putting him in mostly terrible just because Allie is equally as... I put him and Allie on the same playing field as far as, like, they're both shitty. So, like, I can't really call either of them just terrible because they're both shitty and just shouldn't be together. Like, I'm sure he could find a good woman and, like he has the capacity for change. I think the fact that the older version of him is acting the way he acts shows that he did change as a person. So, like, I'm willing to put him in just mostly terrible, but I do still hate him. Noah Cross from Chinatown. I'm just putting here. Listen, I just rewatched Chinatown today before this stream. I wanted to cover these two to start this off because these are the two where I started being like, okay, is this a coincidence or is this a trend? Where characters named Noah are terrible people. That's what kind of gave me the idea for this. Like, I've been wanting to do this for years. But I figured this would be a good outlet to do it now. So he goes in pure evil. Listen, if you've seen Chinatown, you understand why he's in pure evil. There is not a single redeeming quality to Noah Cross. He's a fantastic villain. Like, I think Chinatown is a movie I really like, despite its director. I think it's it is an excellent film noir, with a very tight screenplay. And Noah Cross is very well written. But he is just pure evil. The fact that he kills someone, he commits murder, and that is not the worst crime he commits. Like, if any other... Like, there's no way any other Noah in any film is going to come close to him. Like, he is the bench... He is, like, the bottom of the barrel in terms of, like, shitty people named Noah. Like, there is not a possible way I could find... I would be impressed and disgusted if I found a film character named Noah that is a worse person than Noah Cross from Chinatown. But yeah, usually he's behind like a whole fraud thing, like, you know, with the water, like diluting the water to the orange groves while you know, the town's going through a drought. And all, you know, the obvious, you know, heinous action of him literally raping and impregnating his own daughter when she was a teenager, and then not letting her see her sister slash daughter. And he doesn't kill her, but he is like definitely partially responsible for her death by the end of in the end of the movie. So yeah, pure evil. He sucks. But yeah, so I'm hoping to, you know, watch more of these. In fact, there are a couple options we have for next week's film that could fall into the Noah, that have characters named Noah that I could include on here. So I'm debating. I don't think I want to do. Because, like, hang on, let me find my list. I marked down, like, films. I marked down films with characters named Noah. I scoured the villains wiki specifically for characters named Noah. And then I just tried my best to search other Noahs in film, which wasn't super fruitful, but basically the films that I have on my list that I will watch throughout like the next few months, like I'll spread them out. Noah, based on Noah's Ark. I'm not gonna go into like every Noah's Ark adaptation, but I figured I would do, the most high-profile one being Darren Aronofsky's Noah, which I have seen before, but I'll rewatch it at some point. We have Junior, the Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito, or no, Danny DeVito's not in that one. Is he? He might be in that one as well. Yes, he is. But yeah, the male pregnancy comedy. So that's Leah Thompson. The villain in that is named Noah. We have The Boy Next Door, the Jennifer Lopez thriller. We have Bad Boys, which I'm dreading watching because I don't like Will Smith, and based on what I know about Bad Boys, thankfully it's not Bad Boys 2. This character is only in the first Bad Boys. I've heard egregious things about Bad Boys 2. As long as Bad Boys 1 isn't that bad, I'll be fine. There is Noah the Elder from Happy Feet 1 and 2, which I have seen the original Happy Feet, but not since it came out in theaters. I watched it in theaters as a kid, but I do not remember anything from it, so that's one I'm definitely going to have to rewatch. Weird thing with that, though, Happy Feet 2 is currently available on HBO Max, but Happy Feet 1 is not. Like, Happy Feet 1 isn't on any streaming services, unless you have to pay to rent it or buy it. But, yeah, I'll find a way to watch that. There's a Noah in The Boondock Saints, which I've never seen before. I haven't seen most of these films. I haven't seen Boy Next Door. I haven't seen Bad Boys. I haven't seen Junior. I haven't seen Happy Feet 2. There's Dr. Noah from the 1967 Casino Royale, which is more of a Bond parody than an actual Bond adaptation. Hence the name Dr. Noah. Obviously a play on Dr. No, but I figured I'd count it. There is the film Loser from 2000 that has a Noah. There is a Noah in Oliver Twist. And again, I'm not going to do every Oliver Twist adaptation, I'm just gonna watch the 1968 version because I've never seen it, and it's the most high profile. It was the Best Picture winner. Um, we have a Noah in the Bourne Ultimatum. I haven't seen any of the Bourne movies. We have a Noah in Black Scorpion from 1995. We have Noah Scanlon, the main antagonist of Disclosure Day, played by Colin Firth, which I have seen. And that was another reason why I wanted... That recent edition is another reason why I wanted to do this project. But that's all the ones from... Those are all from the Villain Wiki. Other Noahs I found in film that aren't villains, per se. We have Noah Levinstein in American Pie. I've never seen American Pie. We have Noah Sullivan in the Air Bud franchise. He appears specifically in Seventh Inning Fetch and Spikes Back along with Air Buddies and Snow Buddies. So I'll have to watch all those. Another weird streaming thing, all of those are on Disney Plus except for Air Buddies. I don't know why Air Buddies specifically is not on Disney Plus, but especially because, again, it's not on any other streaming service. So I don't know what the problem there is. We have Noah Diaz from Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Haven't seen any of the Transformers movies. We have Noah Adams from Silent Night, Deadly Night 5, which I have watched. Another example that I will give is, like, not a great Noah. We have Don't Blink. We have The Scorpion King 2, Rise of a Warrior. I'm very happy that I don't have to watch the original Scorpion King, because I don't want to watch a Dwayne Johnson movie. We have The Stranger from 1946. And we have Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which isn't spelled Noah, it's spelled Noa, but I figured I'd count it. It's the only female on the list, interestingly. So, yeah, that is my current list of films with characters named Noah in them. If you can think of some other films with characters named Noah in them, let me know. I'm not looking for actors named Noah, so don't just send me, like, Noah Centineo films. Don't send me films directed or written by Noahs. Like, don't send me Noah Baumbach films unless there's a character in the film named Noah. I'm looking specifically for films with characters named Noah in the film. Not an actor named Noah, not a director named Noah. I want characters named Noah. And I'm not looking for any more adaptations of Noah's Ark or Oliver Twist, or, like, any film with like, any story with a character named Noah that's been adapted multiple times. Like, I'm just gonna do one adaptation per story, most likely. So, yes, if anyone has any more characters named Noah in films, and I'm not looking for TV, not adding any TV shows to this, specifically looking at movies, so let me know. But, yeah, and I think so there's a couple on this list that are available on free streaming services, namely Oliver from 1968 and The Stranger from 1946. Both of those are available on Tubi. The Stranger is available on anything because it's public domain, which made me think of maybe doing it for, like, maybe doing a watch along at some point, although I don't know if my stream can handle that. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I think we'll go with Oliver. It's a long one. It's a long movie. It's about 2.5 hours. but it is critically acclaimed. It's a Best Picture winner. It has a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a musical. I like musicals. I've never seen Oliver the musical. Um, it is also available for free on YouTube. It looks like, okay, if you have Sony Pictures Core, it's also on there. Don't know why you would uh have that, but unless you're a big Sony fan. But yeah, we'll go with that. It's a long one, so but yeah. So that'll be the film for discussion for the next one. We'll go more in depth on that. Um yeah. Okay. How long have we even been streaming? Has it been only an hour? Um yeah, I think I am going to end things here because it is yeah. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. Like, I could just sit here and watch The Strangers, but my stream is already lagging a bit, so I don't think that's a good idea. Even though it is in public domain, I think it could just cause issues for the stream. So,